breadsticks for 24 years. As
and salad. Don't forget the salad. They're going to grind that.
Have you guys been watching the Olympics?
Yeah.
Dude, the other Olympic pool turned green. They're both green now.
Did I talk on PKN or to either of you about the Filipino Splash Brothers?
No.
I don't think so.
So there are these two Filipino high divers. They're calling them the Splash Brothers. Now, when a high diver comes to the board, forgive me if I use some incorrect terminology here, but if it's a German, an American, a Russian, someone like that, they're coming up there and they're as cold as ice. They're a competitor. It's just stony eyes, dead expression. They adjust their fulcrum on the board. They get up there. They have the exact perfect amount of steps. They take the steps the exact same way. Because they've done it 1,000 times before the same way. They bounce once, bounce twice, and then do their flips or twists or whatever their routine is, and then tiny splash. No fear, not even a hint of it. It appears watching them do this. These Filipino Splash Brothers, as they're being called, come up there and they're like, all right, I guess this is it. They get a running start, bounce, and then you can see the fear in their face as they start transitioning into backflips. It's just, ah! The first one goes up there. He does about 2.5 backwards rotations, flat on his back. Big, deep cannonball type splash. Like it looked like something from the Fail blog.
Playing.
He crawls out and goes to the hot tub transition pool. Diver number 2 comes up. Same thing. Also, splash. They're both in the pool waiting on the scores. And, an Olympic score, and you got 5 or 6 judges or whatever, and they each hold up a card with the numbers. It goes 0, 0, 0, 0, all the way across the board, and they just look at each other and kind of, well, what are you gonna expect? At least we didn't die. Enrique didn't fucking make it.
It's funny, like
there were 3 Splash Brothers. The third one cracked his face.
They're landing like this, but in their feet.
He honestly looks like someone was standing at the end of the diving board with a gun, like, go on, you do it. Like, this guy looks like he got plucked off of the gymnastics team at the last second. Oh, they only allowed 12, not 13. What am I going to do? You're doing the high jump.
He's the only diver. He's the only diver, but that before he does his routine, he looks over the lifeguard like, hey, you awake over there?
Get off your phone!
Pay fucking attention. Pay fucking attention. This is gonna be rough. He's gotta psych himself up before he gets to the board.
Dude,
I love seeing that.
That is one of the funniest fucking things.
I love these. I'd never heard of these. I love these dudes. This is amazing.
Giving him more than a 0. I mean, they actually did something. They didn't do nothing.
They didn't do the dive they were supposed
It's
to.
a gravity-based event, right? Everyone hits the water, okay? We grade you on what you do before, during, and after you hit the water. Like you can't just jump.
Hit the water just like
like scared, like visibly like looking for the right place to go. He swims the wrong direction. They gotta yell it this way. The ladder's this way. Poor guy. They look terrified.
I've been watching the swimming. Missy Franklin's having a bad meet. That makes me sad. I'm like, I don't follow swimming super close anymore, so a lot of the guys I root for were good like 4 years ago and stuff like that. Michael Phelps is killing it. That's pretty impressive. He won an individual gold and some relays.
Did he only qualify for one individual event, though?
I think he qualified for more than that.
Okay.
I don't know.
But I know he's got 20 fucking medals now, more than
20,
a lot of countries.
Does he have 22 now?
Oh, maybe I'm out of date.
I think you're slightly behind.
That's a lot of medals,
dude. In college, I swam with this woman, whatever. By the time she was a senior, she was like an 8-time All-American. She was very, very good, and she had a shoulder injury. And we were up against these like heated rivals. Now the men's and women's teams are kind of different, but we swam at the same day. Like the things being interchanged. Anyway, so we're up, and our coach gives us this giant pep talk. He's like, I fucking hate, and then the other coach, I hate that guy. We compete against them every fucking year, and he is the biggest piece of shit in the whole conference. If he left this school and went to Alaska, I would drive our asses up there in a van just to kick his ass again. And it was like a big heated rival. And he didn't give these speeches every game. You know, I was excited. I was a freshman, and I had never had a coach like pump up a team like he did before. Now, I'll mention I did win my individual event, like my fly, but the men's team got their asses kicked as a team. But the women were mega competitive. It was like super, super close. And the last event, at a collegiate event anyway, is the 4x100 relay. And this woman, Connie, she had a busted shoulder, so she couldn't swim that day. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so close. Connie would have won every event. But it's like it's coming down to it. All the girls, no one knows who's going to win this thing. It's just like it's a toss up. And I was right there, like I'm sitting on the bench, and my coach is watching, and he's got his clipboard out, and she taps him on the shoulder, and she's like, "Put me in, coach." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "I can beat these fuckers with one arm." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, yeah, I can do this." So she goes up there. Her shoulder's injured. That's why she's not swimming this event. Her shoulder is like, it's like some sort of like labrum tear or something like that. And she has to rest it because she wants to be at her best, come the nationals, so she can be All-American again. Anyway, so she goes up there. Now, the deal with freestyle is you can swim any stroke you want. Like, you can do butter, breast, you can make up your own stroke. There's just a few rules. Like, you have to be above the water after like 15 yards. And another rule is you have to do the same stroke for an entire lap. So you can change at the midpoint, but you can't change in the middle of the lane. So she's swimming anchor. And like, no one knows what she's got in the tank or what she can do. She's not training. She's injured. And it comes into the anchor leg, and she's behind, right? They've handed her a deficit, and the whole meet is hanging on this thing. And she goes out there, and she swims with one fucking arm. It's like this one-arm butterfly thing. And she's keeping up with the other team's anchor leg, one-armed. And then she does her flip turn, two arms. She busts out two arms, and she cuts the gap in half. Lap 3, one arm again, right? The thing hurts. She can't do it. Come the final lap, she breaks out two arms, she passes the other guy, and she wins the thing. It like went down as legendary. Like fucking Connie busting out this like one arm relay win out of nowhere.
That's really cool.
She was amazing.
Connie.
Now, on the flip side of the Olympics, getting away from that heartfelt, emotional, wonderful victory, I've been going to this subreddit called Olympics.
Yeah.
And it's just like ass shots, creep shots of Olympic athletes and stuff like that. I love it. So water polo is a good one because those chicks like to like pull the other chick's titty out as like a to throw them off base. You know, it appears to me that water polo is a game where like, I don't know, 10 or 15 adults get into a pool that's too deep to stand on the bottom. They tread water and they try to throw a soccer ball through a net on either end. Seems so fucking stupid, but the best part is there's titties and ass. Like, these chicks are like pulling each other's bathing suits off so that the other chick will have to like rearrange her boob and put it back away and can't focus on the ball anymore. That, and of course, strategy. It's real good strategy. And then of course there's women's volleyball, and that you got both indoor and beach. Beach is much better. It's much better. I really love the Olympics for the incredibly hot female athletes that are just specimens of physicality and muscularity. They're just asses that look like they could just destroy your penis if they wanted to. They could, like, you'd be fucking them and they would just like flex their butt muscles, and it'd be like those chicks that crush watermelons with their titties. Like, your dick would just implode. Like there's some beautiful women.
I was watching
the
water
Olympics.
polo. I was watching a tiny bit of water polo, more like a YouTube clip of like a section of it, and one of the most depressed people in sports have to be goaltenders in water polo, because all it is a very slow approach, because obviously they're in water. Like, you can't like sprint up and down the field or the pool, and they get real close to the goal, and then the goalie kind of does a little wiggle maneuver with his lower body, and he goes, kind of like wiggles himself up, and he tries to put his hands up because it's way higher than where his head is in the pool. And then he like has this look on his face like, oh, I'm fucking waiting for it. And then without fail, the guy with the ball goes, boom! And it just goes straight past him and into the net. And every time the goalie's just like, oh, God, 10 out of 10 times I have that one. Get in your game. Get in the game. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because this is a sport where when you take the best of the best of the best, there just isn't parity by position. So similar to lacrosse, the best goalie on the fucking planet is going to stop 7 out of 10 from an average guy. You know? Like the best goalie on the if you take a professional hockey goalie and Kyle, you can leave Kyle out there for a week and a half and he will not score. Mm-hmm. If you put Kyle in a pool with that soccer ball, give him 6 or 7 minutes after he's acclimated himself to the temperature of the water, and then he will walk over there and score. Because they have doomed these people from the start. These poor water polo goalies. All this pressure on them, and they can't do anything to stop it. Like, it's just, they're too slow in the water. That really just gave me a kick. I liked that.
Yeah. The goalie just sits there and treads water the entire fucking time, until somebody...
Everybody does.
That's
everybody does.
Sport. You wonder, like, it's kind of weird to me that there's water polo and then there's polo, which is on horses and shit. And they're just like, let's get rid of the horses and do this in a pool. Like,
they start with horses, but they all drown in the first inning. So then,
I love that this
they drag the horses out and start.
Well, they wanted to take it from an incredibly rich sport to just like a little bit of a rich sport. So you don't need a horse, but you need a pool. You know?
I just see those as two different sports. Like, to call them the same name is a little ridiculous. You know, like there's polo on horseback with like a fucking croquet mallet, and then there's water polo, which has no croquet mallet or horses, and it's in a pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more like water. It's closer to soccer. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like water soccer.
There's no animals involved in one.
Seems like water rugby a little bit too. I don't know. Let me tell everyone a little about Loot Crate. This episode is being brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a